Welcome to the Tim Hayn Podcast, episode 2. I wrote a theme song for this podcast. It's a little ditty, and I haven't recorded it yet, but it's going to go a little something like this. You've got the Tim Hayn, Tim Hayn, Tim Hayn, Tim Hayn, Tim Hayn Podcast. Yeah! I'm looking forward to recording that, but until then, that's what you get. You just get that little rendition for now. For this episode, I want to talk about the weight of existence and the struggle of chasing an impossible dream. That impossible dream being, I want to be a rock star. It's one of the most difficult things to try and be, so why not go for it? I love a challenge. I love a good challenge, but I've been at it for a long time. I'm rapidly approaching 40. I'm 39 years old. I turn 40 later this year. I've been playing music since I was 10 years old. I started playing the trumpet at 10 years old. And then when I was 13, I took a music conversion class and I picked up percussion and drums and French horn, euphonium, baritone, tuba, all of the valved brass instruments. And then when I was 16, I joined choir, picked up guitar. And then when I was 18, I picked up piano. I've always just had an unquenchable thirst for musical knowledge. I just can't get enough. And so I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a professional musician. I knew that this is what I wanted to do for my entire life. It's the most fun, rewarding thing I've ever done. I love performing on stage in front of a group of people that are just having the best time. Whether I'm performing cover songs or my own songs. I have fun doing both. I prefer to perform my originals, of course, but I have a great time performing covers as well. You know, when I was younger, like fresh out of high school, young adult, I really thought that I was going to be playing a gig and have that classic scene out of a movie record company story happen where a big time record executive happens to be in the audience, and then they come up to me after the show and say, "Hey man, I really like what you got. I want to sign you onto a record contract." I really thought that was going to happen, and it didn't. 100% did not happen. That's yes, that still does happen from time to time, but that's kind of an older dream from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I feel like that kind of thing kind of died out in the 80s, like the magic of the Sunset Strip in Hollywood and playing at the Whiskey or the Viper Room and all these awesome places. And so when I was younger, I did not put in the proper work necessary to get myself where I want to be. I worked as a server. I worked almost every single position in a restaurant, all of the front of house positions. I was a host. I worked takeout. I was a food expediter, a back waiter, a server, a bartender. I did it all because as everybody knows, that the restaurant industry is a great industry to work if you're an aspiring artist, if you're an entertainer, whether you want to be an actor, musician, artist, all of the above, any one of those things. It's a fantastic job because there's a lot of other like-minded people that are working in that industry with you. It's generally easy to get shifts covered if you happen to get a random gig that you need to go perform. And I've been in multiple bands. I was in 2 bands when I was younger. I was in uh, a 7-piece hip hop band called the Gumbo. I was also in a 4-piece rock and roll band called Murphy's Outlaws. And I really thought both of those bands were going to take off. And I have music from both those bands recorded. They didn't take off. People got married, had kids, gave up on the dream, and the bands broke up. And I decided to go solo. That's where I decided to brand the Tim Hayn brand, use my name, the same way John Mayer, Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift do. And I can either perform solo acoustic or I can have a full band. But either way, I don't have to depend on anybody except myself. Now, when I was 29 years old, I got the opportunity to audition for a Russian surf rock band called the Red Elvises, and I got the gig. It changed my life. I immediately went on tour. He's like, "Hey, you got the gig. In 3 weeks, we leave for 3 months, learn these 40 songs." It was really heavy, and I was scared. I was really scared, but I did it, and I'm really glad I did it because now that band, I toured with that band for 4.5 years. I went to 45 states, thousands of cities, 4 countries, and I've played over 1,000 shows, and it was a wonderful ride. When the COVID pandemic happened, that ended my relationship with the band, and I'm still on great terms with them, and I love showing up to random shows and reunions and stuff like that. But COVID definitely ended my time being in the band, which is great, which is fine. I have been really working on my solo career since then. Now I'm 39, 10 years later, and in the last few years, the last handful of years is when I've really realized how much work I did not put in when I was younger that I need to put in now. I don't drink anymore. I quit drinking in 2020, right before the pandemic started, funny enough. And I partied. I partied a lot. I did all the rock star things you could do. I toured the country, I drank, I partied, did drugs, I did all the stuff. And when I was younger, I sacrificed my future in the name of my present. And so now I'm realizing that I need to sacrifice my present in the name of my future. I'm single, I'm not married, I don't have any kids. So I'm fortunate enough to have the freedom to do whatever I want. And I used to just want the immediate fun of right now. And yeah, I still want that, but now I have a more mature, seasoned outlook that I know that there's a lot of work that I need to put in to making this dream a reality. And especially as I'm approaching 40, I mean, I know there's exceptions to this rule, but most artists get discovered when they're really young, as teenagers or young 20s, early 20s. I know there's a few exceptions like Robin Thicke and Jelly Roll. I believe both of them got discovered, I think at 39, which I'm 39, so maybe it happens. Who knows? I like if I'm looking at a specific dream, if I want to label what the dream is, I want to play the Hollywood Bowl. I want to sell out the Hollywood Bowl under the Tim Hayn name, under my name. Just like I've bought tickets to see John Mayer at the Hollywood Bowl and it was sold out. I want to be that. John Mayer is my favorite artist of all time. I want to be on stage with my band performing my original songs in front of 17,000 people at the Hollywood Bowl and go on a stadium tour. That is my ultimate dream. And the older I get, the more that dream seems out of reach. And it gets me emotional. It gets me sad. And I'm I've been working through those feelings lately of is that really possible? Is that really attainable? I know that it is. There's a chance that anything can happen, but the probability is declining the longer I live, the older I get. I'm getting better at songwriting. I'm getting better at singing. I'm getting better at playing guitar. I'm getting better as a musician in general. I'm honing my craft. Every song I write, I feel is better than the last. Um, but the reality of the music industry is that it's just far more difficult for an aging musician to be discovered and burst out onto the scene. So I'm working on that. I'm working on that. I I struggle with my insistence on a particular outcome. So I've realized that every time I insist on a particular outcome, it doesn't go well. And it doesn't go exactly as to my plan, and has to go this way. Things have to, I'm ADHD and OCD, and if things don't go exactly my way, then it doesn't work out exactly how I want, then I get bummed out. And that's one of my biggest issues, just in life in general. That's not even just musically, that's just everything, whether I'm talking to a friend or planning a hang or planning a party or anything. And conversely, every single time that I release my worry, that I release my insistence on an outcome, and I just go with the flow and live in the moment and just, yeah, whatever happens, happens, things work out. Every time. I've been paying attention to this lately. I've been running my own personal experiment, and that is what my observations have shown. The more that I insist on a particular outcome, the more things don't work out. And so I'm struggling with the idea of my dream. My dream is I want to sell out the Hollywood Bowl. I want to be a rock star. But I'm insisting upon that. I'm insisting upon that be the particular avenue of my success. And it's okay if that doesn't happen. That's completely fine. Because there's so many rungs on the ladder of success that I'm continually climbing. I'm more successful now than I was 10 years ago. Anytime I get bummed out, I think about what the 10-year ago version of myself would be so stoked at where I am right now. I'm living in an apartment right on Venice Beach. Some of the best real estate ever. I just got lucky with knowing the right people, and I have great roommates. I have fantastic friends. My whole friend group and family fully support me in every way that friends and family can support you, and I'm eternally grateful for my existence and for being here. I'm so glad, and I'm just stoked on life in general. My default setting is stoked. I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm just There is a quote from Seinfeld when he went to SNL and he met Jimmy Fallon for the first time when he was young, and he was like the first season he was on. And Jerry Seinfeld said, "What's that light floating across the room?" And they said, "Oh, that's Jimmy Fallon. He's just happy to be here." Like, that's me. That's exactly how I feel. I'm just stoked on everything. Um so so yeah, I it's funny being stoked on life. It's still hard. Like, life is still hard. It's not like I'm never sad. I cried this morning. I literally bawled my eyes out this morning about this topic. This is why I decided to talk about this. The weight of existence is heavy. Oh my God, it's so heavy. And this struggle of chasing this impossible dream, like, it's heavy. And multiple times in my life, I've second guessed myself about whether or not this is the right course of action, the right thing for me to do. I mean, I know I want to be a musician, but maybe that's not in the cards for me to be as successful as I want to be. And I really don't want to do anything else. And so, to quote John Mayer, he was asked, if you weren't a millionaire rock star, what would you be? And he said, "Oh, I'd be a local musician at a dive bar. I was always going down with the ship." That's me. I'm going down with the ship. This is it. This is all there is. Um, the only way you get your dreams is by never giving up on them. So as difficult as this is, and as huge as the struggle is, I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going forward. And it's it's difficult. It's difficult. And I have a million thoughts running through my head. So, with that being said, I'm hosting a rooftop concert this Wednesday, a couple days from now, February 11th, at my place in Venice Beach. So If you're interested and you want to come out, message me for details. Feel free. I keep hitting the microphone. I got a microphone here. Pierce beyond the veil. There you go. That's the production. And I keep like doing this and I keep hitting it. So that's what you're hearing there. Like I said, there's no rules to this podcast. So mistakes are going to happen. I'm going to say a lot. I'm realizing a bunch of different ways that I talk. When I watch the last podcast, I say and as I'm thinking about what my next thing to say is. So if you're interested and you want to come out to my rooftop concert, feel free to leave me a message, DM me, and I'll give you the details. The party's going to start at 5. I'm cooking a huge feast for everybody. That'll be ready at 6, and we're having live music from 7 to 10. I'm going to be singing with my buddy Remy Krumpek. He's my favorite songwriter. I love his voice and I love his songs. We're going to be singing some originals and covers. I'm going to be singing with my original band as well, performing Tim Hayn originals. And then the headlining act is my cover band called Left on Rad, where we're going to do a hot set of sizzling rock and roll covers from the 60s till to today, which is really fun. And so that's what's happening. I have more to say on this topic, and I will come back to say more. But for now, I think that's a good place. Rooftop concert Wednesday. Message me for details. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of my journey. I love you guys.